Gentlemen, let's have a quick talk about drugs. I think it's very important that you understand that you have to stay out of drugs. You have to stay off drugs. It's a tough conversation, right? Because it's a topic that is, that is kind of for lack of a better word, kind of taboo, right? You don't just, sit at the dinner table and talk about drugs. But drugs are a trap. Drugs are a trap. People try to find ways to feel good, in the moment, and they end up putting things in their bodies that give them good feelings for a little bit, but then it totally destroys them. Long term, it has negative effects. You take all these substances into your body, and then you're hooked, and then you can't make decisions on your own. You lose your autonomy pretty much by going into drugs. So it's very important, to stay off of drugs. And I think I'm a candidate to talk about this because I've met thousands of people as a cab driver, and I saw many of them were on drugs, and I saw that filth all around me, and I'm proud to say I never touched it. And the reason why I never touched it is because I saw firsthand what it did to people. It fucking destroys people's lives. So this is a very simple video, very simple topic, but it's important for young men, especially in the United States nowadays, with the environment the way it is now, with people taking drugs. The social scene, right? You want to be part of the crowd, you want to be cool. You don't want to say no to your friends, right? But you got to keep in mind that if they offer you this junk, they're not really your friends. They're not really your friends. And so you got to stay out of it. Don't be afraid to be alone, right? This is one of the instances where it's better to be alone than to keep bad company. And you look around, you go on the streets of most major cities in America, right? And you see literally zombies everywhere, right? You see zombies everywhere, and you got to ask, well, what's happening here, right? 20 years ago, this wasn't like this, right? And so, we can try and point fingers and try and say who the culprit is, and I think we all know who the culprit is. It's Big Pharma, but I'm not gonna get into that. I'm only saying here, there are some simple but effective ways to stay out of it, right? No matter how life, what life throws at you, how hard it gets, it's never worth taking that junk. And so, first of all, don't smoke anything. Smoking is against nature. Nobody smokes except humans. It goes against the laws of nature. Smoking is just smoke going into your lungs. Even medicinal plants like marijuana, right, or cocaine. I'm not talking about crack cocaine. I'm talking about coca leaf, right? The indigenous people, they never smoked this shit. Smoking is bad for you, period. Yes, indigenous people did smoke, that's for sure, but smoking is no good for your lungs. Any kind of smoke is no good for your lungs. Now, the other thing is, don't inject anything. You got to be really wary of needles. Usually, when your body's being poked, unless you're a woman and you're getting poked by a man, if your body's getting poked, it's usually not a good thing. Needles are no good. You got to remember, these are invasive things. These are invasive procedures that are done to the body, right? And especially if you're putting, substances in your body that shouldn't be there in the first place. It's a big no-no. You got to keep the integrity of your body. You got to respect your body, right? They say it's the temple of the mind, the temple where the mind resides, and you must respect it as such. Your body goes, your mind goes with it. So it's one way to stay out of it, right? Avoid needles of all kinds. The other thing is that it's very popular nowadays, especially with the younger crowd. We're talking about pills, okay? Pills are a big no-no. Remember, anything that was made in a lab, anything that was manufactured by man, usually should not go in your body, right? It starts. Let's take, for example, an orange, right? You can have you can pluck an orange out of a tree and eat it in its most natural state, organic, meaning without pesticides. That's all organic food is. No pesticides, no chemicals of any kind, right? Organic means lifelike, just the way nature intended. So you can do that. You can eat that orange. It'll do you good, right? For the most part, it'll do you good. If you cook it, it loses vitamins, it loses the nutrients, right? It doesn't taste the same. Right then and there, you've broken the laws of nature. But it's okay. Most of us eat cooked foods anyways. Now, if you go one step further, and you can, meaning you put the orange in a can to try to store it, make it last longer, and then you consume it, that's pretty much dead, right? And then you got other derivatives of the orange. You can have like orange juice, right? Which can or cannot be good. If you add sugar to it, that's no good. Sugar's a drug, right? Orange sugar can be good, especially if it's fresh squeezed. But if you pasteurize it, that means you cooked it. So that's not as good. And then you can have other things like sugar candy, right? Like orange candy, orange flavored candy, right? Or you can have, you can preserve the orange in many other ways, right? But none of those ways are good. Only the fresh orange picked up from the tree. Now, most of us can't do that nowadays. We don't have an orange tree in our backyard. Or any other kind of tree usually, right? Most people don't. Most of us live in big cities, right? But the point I'm trying to make here is you got to stay as close to what nature intended as possible. And when you're putting things in your body that are completely manufactured, such as pills, or diet sodas, right? All that shit is just junk. So these designer drugs, these drugs that are made in labs are really destroying people. And because the people are getting destroyed, the place is turning to shit. So it's up to you to keep yourself as whole as possible, as complete as possible. Remember, this is a war against you. This is a war against you because there are entities that benefit from your misery. So it's up to you to stay complete. It's up to you to uphold yourself to the highest standards. And the avoidance of drugs is one of the main ways in which you're able to keep your mind clear and see the game for what it really is. What's the play here, right? What's at stake? How is it not benefiting you? You won't be able to see it if your mind is clogged. If your mind is clouded, if your judgment is clouded by the smoke from drugs, you won't be able to see it. So it's very important for you to stay sane, for you to stay whole, so you can keep fighting this evil that's being perpetrated against you as a man and as a human. I can't stress it enough. You gotta stay off of it. Don't smoke anything. Don't accept any pills from strangers. Or you can accept it, put it in your pocket, and throw it away as soon as they walk away. Do not consume any of these crappy substances. So drugs come in other ways too, right? You got the pills, you got the smoke, you got the needles. You know, those are the most popular ways. But you got other things too. You got things that you can, consumables such as mushrooms or whatnot. Mushrooms are toxic. Mushrooms exist in nature to break things down. When an animal dies on the side of the road, the yeast takes over. Yeast covers the entire earth, right? A lot of these mushrooms are psychedelic in nature, and that's the reason why people take them. But it's also, if abused, it can lead you into irreversible damage, right? Irreversible damage can be done to your body if you take these things and you're not really supposed to take them in the quantities that people take them, and for the reasons that people take them. So that's a big no-no. Yes, mushrooms are natural, but remember, mushrooms have toxins in them. They're called mycotoxins. Look into it. They really destroy people. Again, the role that mushrooms play in nature is to break things down. Once things are, once things decay, once things die, the mushrooms come in, and they finish the decaying process, right? They turn people back into earth. So what message are you sending your body, right? If you're putting mushrooms in your body. So these are very dangerous things, very dangerous. So the last thing you need to know is that any substance that you put in your body has a negative effect. Okay? Any substance, a negative or a positive effect. Any substance you put in your body has an effect. Okay? Negative or positive. Now, it's up to you to put the best things in your body. You got to be wary about the food that you eat. Do not accept, nowadays you can't really accept food from strangers. It's a big no-no. Even if they mean well, don't ever say you're hungry in public. If they offer the food, you take it, save it for later, and throw it right in the trash. You don't know what it has nowadays. You can't take that chance. I followed that advice that someone gave me, many years ago, and I did good. One time, I picked up this passenger as a cab driver, and the guy was really nice. We were having a nice conversation, and surprisingly, he pulled out this little pill bottle, right? And he pulled out this little blue pill. Now, I knew it wasn't Viagra, right? Because Viagra, people were selling them on the streets for $20 back in the day, and I was never interested in it. I didn't have any ED issues or anything. So, but I had seen it. Well, he pulled it. These were lighter than Viagra's. He pulled them out, and the way that it was presented to me was like this. He said, he thought I was a cool guy, and I thought he was a cool guy, right? But then he said, "Hey, you want to try something new?" And I was like, "Holy shit!" I thought to myself, "Wow," because who doesn't want to try something new, right? Who doesn't want to try something new that's coming from a nice person, right? That's coming from a friendly person, right? But you got to be on the alert. You got to be on the alert, because it's all downhill from there, So I looked at this guy back in a friendly way, kind of like a nonchalant way. I said, "No, thank you, man. I'm all set." But in my mind, I was thinking, this guy's a fucking junkie, Comes to this neighborhood, who knows from where, because we were driving into a shitty neighborhood, right? And I'm thinking, this guy just comes into this neighborhood from who knows where to get this fucking junk. You know, this guy's a fucking loser. And so it's up to you, my dear MGTOW brother, to stay away from this junk, this filth that is being pushed onto the United States people, the citizens of the United States, those of us that live here, right? But that's what I mean by citizens. The people that live here in the United States, this junk is being pushed onto them by the powers that be and by other foreign powers. Let's keep it real. So it's up to you to stay clean, to stay sober, to keep your mind clear, because the women are just part of the equation. The nasty women are just part of the equation. It's ugly out here. It's ugly out here right now, and you gotta stay sane. You gotta stay whole, and you gotta love yourself more than anything. You know, you can't let yourself, you can't make bad decisions because something went wrong. Shit will go wrong. Shit would always go wrong on the daily, right? So if you take this fucking junk, it's just gonna make it worse. It's gonna make it worse. Very rarely, if ever. I mean, I've never seen somebody that's gone into drugs and come out better for it. It's always been, you know, a downward spiral for the person that started the process. So stay away from it. The other poison out there is alcohol. Stay away from alcohol. Remember, alcohol, I mean, you just got to see what it does to people, right? The decisions that they make when they consume this junk, right? Keep your mind clear. Keep yourself complete. Go ahead and hit the gym. You know, lift some weights. Buy something nice for yourself. You know, dress well. Not to impress others, but that so that you feel as if you value yourself. You know, dress well. Get a nice haircut. Make sure you pay the barber well. Give him a $5 tip at least. You know, if the haircut costs $30, like it costs over here in the East Coast where I live, you know, haircut is $30. You give him $5 extra. You know, give the barber $5 extra, and they'll be happy to see you next time you come around. They'll do a good job. You know what I mean? And you smile to the people that give you good service, and you go about your merry way. You know, but that way you stay clean. You know, get yourself a nice haircut. Keep your hands clean as much as possible. Even if you do a dirty job, you keep your hands clean. You know. The other thing, you gotta wear a nice pair of shoes. Remember, if you're not laying down, you're standing up usually, unless you know, like me, you sit down for a big portion of the day, because that's what your job entails, right? But what I'm saying here is that shoes are very important. You gotta have, you know, your feet comfortable, well covered. Don't go out with sandals. You know, sandals, flip-flops, all that shit. That's the same thing. Junky uniform. You know, wear a nice sturdy pair of shoes to come out. Forget about the brand name Nike and all that bullshit. That's overpriced. Just find yourself a good brand of shoes that you enjoy wearing, that is comfortable, that is sturdy, that is going to last you a long time, and wear those. Because you don't know if you got to run. You don't know if you got to punch the dude in the face for being stupid. You know, although, you know, I don't recommend it. But if it comes to that, you know, at least you can walk away in style. Or you can defend yourself, you know, whatever you choose to do, but you'll have the choice. If you're hanging around in fucking flip-flops, you know, you don't stand a chance out here in the streets, especially with the fucking needles that are in the city, you know, on the city sidewalks. You just toss there. You don't want anything, you know, going through your feet. No glass, no needles, nothing. You don't want anything going through your feet. You know, wear a nice pair of sturdy shoes or boots. Especially in the winter, you gotta wear boots. You know, don't walk out with flimsy fucking little shoes on your feet. Be a man. Last but not least, a good mattress is important. You know, if you can't rest properly, you wake up tired and you fuck up. You make fucked up decisions. Anyways, I think that's enough for today, fellas. I'm just putting advice out here the way I would, give my son advice. That's it. But that's the lesson for today. Stay off of drugs. It's for losers. It's for punks. That shit will get you controlled by others like you're a fucking puppet. Anyways, I'll catch you later. Don't be a victim of what's taking place. Thank you for watching.